Hello, everybody. This is Mike Miles. I am here with Ranelle Wallace, and we're doing a surprise show. Apparently, we decided to do it. I know I put out there that we were going to skip it tonight, but Ranelle said she could do it, and I'm like, we need to take the opportunity to talk to Ranelle. So we rushed on, but we thought this would be a good idea. What do you think, Ranelle?
I think it's a must.
It is. I
I
agree.
think, you and I had talked about dealing with post traumatic because near death experiences are usually brought on by post traumatic,
Yeah.
or you have to deal with post traumatic after an experience like that. So I made
Correct.
a decision that tonight was the night that we needed to really think about doing that. And boy, I can't tell you all. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we had our moments of even trying to get this thing on the air.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it has
So here
been
it is.
a day. So,
But
Ranelle, I just I think I kind of updated people a little bit last time on your situation, right? I think
right,
you probably saw the show and saw what I said, but I thought it would be good if you at least gave people a little bit of a story of what happened to you about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks now.
you mean after I get the glasses out of my hair?
Yeah, once you get the tangle out of your hair, Ranelle.
Hold on here. Okay, this is live.
This is live, people. This is live. You can't make it up.
I'm not kidding you. This is the reason I do not get these glasses
Ranelle, just
because they
leave them
do
in
this.
there. Leave them in. They look nice. They're fine.
You mean as a pair of earrings? Well,
I
that might
guess. I
work.
guess that works. Okay.
Anyway,
So
what happened? Wow. Well, ever since I decided to do this show, all hells have broken loose in my life. Well, already was. I was pretty much down to nothing from experiences that I was already going through, but nothing like this. Nothing prepared me for moving up here and starting to do the what you're passionate about, what you love to do,
yeah.
do your dream. I have spent my whole life waiting to get something done. Two things: get a message to somebody that I've pretty much gone, you know what? I have tried and tried to get this message to this person. If they want it, they know where I am. I'm tired. So I'm serious because I
Oh
almost
yeah.
died.
You did
And
again.
yeah, again. And I
Yeah.
thought, you know what? It's probably because the message was supposed to get to that person. But I had made umpteen attempts and I'm just done trying, you know?
Well, except for we're here trying.
I'm just
Um.
so done trying.
Yeah. I mean, we're here.
I wanted to show and tell. Can I show and tell? Do you
You
remember
can
when you were
show.
in kindergarten? Yeah. Does everybody remember kindergarten?
I try not
Anyone to
to.
do show and tell?
Yeah. I had a girl reject
And
me in
and they
kindergarten. It
would
was
put
very
things
upsetting.
on the desk. Oh
Continue.
no. Was there show and tell?
No,
Was
it
it over
wasn't. It
show
was
and
a
tell?
recess. It was during recess. It was upsetting. So that's my
Recess.
memory.
Well, okay, guys. If you remember going to first grade, then Mike,
Okay. Yes.
and
Okay.
sitting
I'll
at
I'll
your
do that.
desk,
Yeah.
the first thing, class starts, you bring a bag of something you want to share from home. I thought it was a great idea because it gives self expression, right?
Yep. I agree.
And so now I have, for anyone who's ever done show and tell, I have to take my meds too at the same time. Thank you.
They
She's
were they
watching
were on
me.
time.
Thank you very much.
And we're live. She is at the
Thank you,
hospital,
man.
everybody. That's what's happening right now. I put it in the
I'm
in the in the description of the show, but yeah, she's currently in the hospital or in the recovery hospital, working through. She'll now do show and tell.
Now I'm doing show and tell. So
I like it.
anyone who wants to know whether I really died, right here, I got to keep the bulb because I had passed on. There's actually ash still all over the mouthpiece. But they put the bulb on me and started to perform CPR till I got to the hospital. So there's quite a neat story, and I'll tell you about what happened with the house fire and the man that held this. He was gorgeous, Marine, handsome, kept calling me Ranelle, and I kept like, wait a minute, how does he know my name? Right? And I kept trying to pull this off. And he goes, Ranelle, leave it on. And he goes, I'm going to save your life, but you got to leave it on. And he says, your heart is stopping and your throat is swollen up. You've inhaled not only flames, but you've also inhaled smoke. And it's your whole throat is completely shut down and your lungs are shut down. So yes, this is why why it's like this.
Yeah.
And so honestly, before I put it on my face, I said, please just let me go. I really did, Mike. I said, just let me go. I've had quite a life. Anyway, I'd gotten up in the afternoon. I was doing my laundry and trying to get some social media done, and I started to smell wire, and my alarm went off, my smoke alarm, which I bought because the owner would not put a smoke alarm in. So I went and bought one, and I put a smoke alarm in because, well, smoke alarms to me are very important.
I wouldn't imagine why.
I could not imagine for the life.
Not even a little, Ranelle. I mean,
not even
3 or 4 life-threatening house or fires that, man, died twice because of it.
And then I taught Stop, Drop, and Roll, and we actually did a program of giving out smoke detectors to senior citizens, knowing that most of them lived in motorhomes, mobile homes, older homes, and I just felt, most of them couldn't afford them.
Yeah. As
I went around, now I know why, the way our Social Security system is and medications, and there's just nothing to live on. Our seniors are really struggling. I'm in this hospital. There are 300 people here. I was telling Mike there are 2 operating showers. That's it. 2 showers that are working. After all these days, I finally got to use a shower today, and I was taking out ash. It took 4 times to wash out all the ash out of my hair. It was that thick. The alarm went off. The wire smelled really bad. The burning was so caustic. I saw ash in there, and I thought that was odd. I tried to open the window. The window had been screwed shut. I think the owner, because the kids were always constantly going up there and playing, they had little kids, and in order for the kids not to fall out of the window, they decided to screw the windows. Only one window. It was like, I don't think, maybe 12 by, no, maybe a little bit bigger, maybe 2 by 3 foot window.
Okay.
And it was up toward this, way up in the ceiling, so you couldn't reach it even. And so I tried to use a broom, to even knock the screen out, but it was so screwed in, and I could see around the edges that, it was screwed in. So I went, oh crap, I got to go figure out what's going on and what's happening, since I can't open the window. And panicked, went flying down the stairs. At the bottom of a very steep stairs. It was about 2.5 floors up. It's above a pottery barn. Where I lived, the people made, or the husband made pottery. So I did a stupid thing, Mike.
What'd you do?
I've trained 1,000 times, and I've taught 1,000 times this. But you're supposed to fill the door.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to, once you fill that,
I asked you, huh? Yeah.
First thing.
Yep.
And was I stupid?
This time, not always, Ranelle, but this time.
This time I was really dumb. And I reached for the handle, and it was hot. Real hot. And I went, crap. But I did not expect what happened next. I opened the door, and a huge backdraft explosion happened.
Yeah.
And I mean explosion.
Yeah.
Because they had the air, because it was such a steep staircase going up 2.5 floors, there was, it was like a chimney, but they also had acetone and glazer in huge containers in the pottery barn. And so it was open, the acetone was open to a very big container. And so when the air hit it and the smoke and the fire hit it, it exploded. And from what I understand, it's just, those blue barrels you use to do catch rain, or you use,
the big ones.
That you store water in.
Yeah.
Or horses run around them.
And stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that melted like a nice pancake to the ground. From what I heard, there's nothing left. And I actually saw a video, and I mean, when I say there is nothing left, there is nothing left. And so this backdraft explosion happened, and I knew enough that from that plane crash, right, what was going to happen when that swoosh comes, and that's when the flame comes. So I turned, and the explosion threw me up against the stairs really hard, and I made my way, crawled under the smoke that was piling up and the flames that were hitting the ceiling, and wanted to cut off its source. So climbed underneath the smoke, kept my mouth to the ground, and shut the door. And I went, oh God, oh my gosh, I'm stuck. I mean, so I thought the phone. I was shaking so bad from the explosion and the fire, I seriously did not know what to do. So I made my way back up to where my phone was. And I didn't realize this. That may be why my screen is broken, Mike. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, that could be.
It may be the heat.
Yeah.
So I dialed 911 over and over again, and through that window that I couldn't get open, the screen, I got it enough, like, you know how they, like at a hotel, they'll leave it just a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was able to get that much. So whatever smoke was in there was now going out, and ash was going out. And I was screaming, house, house, fire, fire, help, help. And it was actually my calling 911. I don't know how they heard, because I kept going 911, 911, 911. Like
You were
an
actually
idiot.
saying it?
I was saying it, 911, 911.
It's like you were,
911, stupid Siri.
it's like you were panicking.
Are
or
you there,
something.
Mike?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you see me?
There we go.
There we are.
Well, tell me, what do you think? Do you think I was panicking?
I think there was some panic in there.
Just a little
mean,
bit.
I don't know why.
Just a
Ranelle.
little.
You're a little dramatic.
No reason at all to panic.
No.
So
goodness
anyway,
gracious, Ranelle.
I threw the phone at the window, hoping that it was heavy enough that it would break it. I went and got the broom, tried to get the broom to go through it, and because it was double screened, it was not happening, because he had double screened it. The thing was so unsafe. There was no exit for fire. There was no, what is it my son called it? Excrement? No, it's fire excrement. Fire escape, I guess. You have to have a certain amount of oxygen. And by the way, that's what my health was going downhill, was because there was no oxygen up there. There was no source for oxygen at all.
Yeah, with the exception of that window, and if you had it closed ever, and that's a small thing. I mean,
it was a small studio with no excrements, no exits, no openings, nothing.
So closing that door, I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. We haven't talked about how you actually got out at that point. I thought you had left, but you actually went back up.
I figured it out. Whew. Wow. Well, I just had like a flashback. Wow.
Trauma is real, people. It really is.
It really is, and it affects you.
It does.
And it's so new. It's only a week old, so it's just, I'm still having anxiety. I was trapped.
Yeah.
And I actually thought, okay, you have two choices. This is a fight or flight. Fight or flight. Okay?
Yeah.
Life or death. You're either going to live or you're going to die by the smoke. If you have a chance to get out, then fight. Fight. So I went back down the stairs. And I opened the door. Sorry.
You're okay. We'll all be patient. We get it. I mean, it's crazy.
Above my head. It's hard to face it all over again, because that was my third time.
Yeah.
And I can at least say this, that the first two times taught me the third. And teaching other kids, teaching adults and kids helped me. Because in that moment, the flames were crawling all up on top of the wall. And actually, I thought, wow, it's so beautiful. It looks like a big fire tree, because the fire was in the center of the room. and it was going up to the top of the ceiling, which was my apartment. And that's why.
Your life was all in there.
And I was cooking up there. I knew it was getting hot. And it was quite beautiful, like I said, but I knew that there were so many chemicals in there from all the pottery, you know, and all the stuff he did, all the glazing and all the paints. So, you know, I knew that they were dangerous and I didn't want to breathe them. So I just said, you got to hold your breath. And then I got really close to the ground on my knees and hands. And you know how you do like army style?
Yep.
On top of each other, on your knees, on your hip, on your knees, on your hip.
Yeah.
And what is it, the old army or the old Marine crawl?
Yeah. Army crawl.
The old military crawl.
That's what I know it as.
I honestly thought that there would be fresh air. I honestly thought that there would be light. It wasn't.
It was completely dark.
And I couldn't breathe. I kept looking at the fire that was like right next to me. It was like right there, like wanting to touch me. And it, you know how when you're out at a fire pit and it wants to come your direction?
Yeah, I do.
Like that, but closer. I'm like, you bad boy, get away. I really said that. I said, you bad.
Oh no, everybody. We lost Ranelle. I don't know how. Let's get her back. Totally how it goes. See, I'm calling.
Right?
Hello. You cut out.
That's okay. Am I on still?
No, you need to go click that button again and we'll be back going.
Okay, hold on then. I can find my darn glasses right there. Okay, I see them. Okay.
Okay, while you do that, I'm gonna hang up and talk to the people. I'll see you when you get in, okay?
Okay, talk.
Okay, so to set this up and make sure you guys, everyone understands, maybe you haven't seen previous episodes, but she was in a plane crash that had flames and she was burned. You could see on her skin and on her body. Those burns are from years and years ago. If you want to listen to that story, it's on one of the previous episodes, but she went through that then and died, and we've been talking about that for the past couple episodes. And then this happens a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, where this flame starts in her apartment. And so it is pretty wild that something like this could happen to one person over and over again. There's other stories she has with fire as well. I see her just getting logged in now, so that's good. Let's add her. Hello. Okay, so where we left off, you were in complete darkness talking to fire.
Yeah, talking to fire, saying, leave me alone.
Yep.
And it was odd. So then I saw like a little sliver of light and thought, well, that's the only thing that's light, so I'm going to go toward that.
Yeah.
And the owner was standing in the doorway, and I kept hearing her scream, Ranelle, get out of there. It's on fire. It's on fire. And I said, it's okay. I'm getting out. I'm getting out. I'm getting out. And she said, do you know how? Follow wall. I said, I already am. I'm on the ground and I'm coming. And so I crawled. I don't even think she saw me when I finally got out. because the smoke was so thick. Because when I came out, it was just blinding black.
And you had to go back down those stairs again.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were climbing all the way down, going out the door, and the door entered into the actual lower building, right?
Right.
So how did you? I have a question. How did you get from there to the door on the outside? Because that room was probably completely like
Yeah,
worse than up above.
it was completely on fire. I mean, there was not a spot where the flames weren't. Um, and I looked up and I realized my apartment was completely gone. Because I could see it, going up between the boards, and I could see it was gone.
You could see out. You could see light coming in from that.
No, I just could see the fire going between the boards and the
Okay.
blackness, of my apartment above me.
Yeah.
Like I'd already entered down the stairs under the smoke, crawled under that smoke, put my face, like I thought, like I told you, I thought that there would be space.
Yeah.
To breathe. I thought there would be that air pocket.
Yeah. Oxygen in the room that gets pushed down.
Now I know how the 130 people died in the water, right? In Maui. Because if the smoke was coming off, because cold air would have sucked that smoke and that heat right out to the sea.
Yeah.
And if it had gone straight down on the water, there's no chance. Because it's not fire that kills you. Smoke.
Not in general. Yeah.
It's smoke that kills you.
Yep.
90% of the time, people die from the smoke. They died from smoke inhalation. What a lot of people don't know is, like in the car, people were huddled together, holding each other. I'm sure they didn't think that the fire would kill them, but it was the smoke. It's so weird because I'd helped with that fire, Mike. I helped with getting homes, getting food, making sure that it wasn't going to the Red Cross, that it was going to the right people, making sure it was getting to the natives, making sure those who were contributing knew that Native Americans don't get the same kind of federal aid,
Yeah.
because they're considered in a unique way a sovereign nation. But unfortunately, the Hawaiian people, even as of like a week before their fire, were fighting for their sovereign nation. So here I'm thinking all that, on the floor. I can't believe it, thinking, did I bring this into my life? Did I manifest this? What happened? And then I crawled underneath that smoke, and there was no pocket. There was no pocket. It was just thick. It's interesting because there were chips of green paint and different paint from, the pottery
Uh-huh.
in the smoke, which was weird. I'd never seen anything like that.
Wow.
I've seen a lot of smoke working with the fire department, but that was weird that instead of burning it, it had broken up into tiny chips.
And
It
was
cooked.
floating.
Yeah, it cooked and it was floating in the smoke. I'll tell you what, I actually know what those people felt. I have never felt so trapped in my life. Because I knew entering in that fire and that smoke, it was 3,000 degrees, Mike. The fire marshal tested, they can tell.
Yeah. At the base of where the fire started.
Yeah, where it started, how hot it got, they can tell. And I sincerely don't know how I lived, because it was 3,000 degrees that my face was in. It was so hot that I remember when I came out of the smoke onto the ground, I couldn't breathe. I was coughing really hard.
Yeah.
I couldn't breathe. I looked at my clothes, and I mean, every bit of my clothes was not just a little black, they were black, like black. I had a white shirt on that was not white anymore. It was like black. I looked at myself, and my legs were black. Everything was black. My legs on my face had gotten burned. It did get burned. I got kind of like a second-degree burn.
Okay.
On my face.
Which is crazy that that's all it was. I mean,
I know,
still,
right?
Yeah.
That it was simply just, tan. It finally turned into a tan, but it took a week. So this is the neat part. When I got out to the front, and I mean, I ran my ass because I couldn't breathe, and I was hoping to find a way or find somebody who had oxygen.
Yeah.
And the moment I got to the front is when the fire department came up. So they came.
Moment, right then?
Mm-hmm. So they came from the phone call, the 911 call. So the time that I was in there, it was 3,000 degrees. Because it took them, I have never seen a better fire department. I've seen, the men do, so what they do is the bucket races and everything, over the years. And you can tell who's a good team and who's not, who works together and who's not. This was a great team. This was an amazing team. They were quick and they were fast. And the ambulance pulled up immediately. And they couldn't get a gurney because all the hoses and everything were running to the backyard, and they couldn't get the gurney across it. So this young man who was
the very handsome, beautiful man that we talked about earlier.
Holy cow! Gorgeous.
Plus, it's the first person that's like, he's coming to help you and give you oxygen. So I'm sure there was something.
No. He's gorgeous. I'm sorry.
So he's straight up hot. Okay.
This kid is hot. Sizzling hot. I mean, that's the first thing I thought was, holy cow, yeah, you can give me mouth to mouth.
You would. Oh my goodness.
I know, but
you're dying, Ranelle. You're in a moment where you're dying, and it's like, oh, he's beautiful.
He's beautiful. You can give me mouth to mouth anytime. Go ahead.
That is.
What was worse was he kept saying, Ranelle, I am going to be here with you. Ranelle, stay with me. Stay with me. I'm not going to let you go. He carried me into the ambulance. I went, wow, let me down. I'm too heavy. I really wasn't, but I felt embarrassed that he had to carry me. He says, I've done this a ton of times, don't worry. And he looked like he could lift probably maybe 200 pounds easily.
Yeah.
Like that looked like cake walk to him, right?
Right.
I mean, this guy had arms.
Yeah.
And he was about he told me he was 6'7",
Oh, wow.
right?
Yeah, it's a big
So
guy.
he's not only big, gorgeous, and strong. So he said, Ranelle, I'm staying right here. Stay with me. I'm not going to let you die. And that's when I went, die. He said, come on, breathe. And I said, I can't. And he said, you have to breathe. Try. And I couldn't breathe. And then my heart monitor went immediately dead. But I was still awake. Remember I told you about that, Mike?
Yeah.
Like,
I was for how long?
the whole time. I mean, until I got close to the hospital. And when I got close to the hospital, something happened. I just died. And I remember him shouting, Ranelle, I'm not letting you go. I will go clear to heaven to keep you here. Those are his last words. I will go all the way to heaven to keep you here.
How did he know who you were?
Right? Right? It was the oddest thing in the world. And then he kept saying my name.
Yeah.
Well, when I came to, which was much later, a whole day had gone by.
Oh, okay.
It was the next day. I mean, the whole day had gone. And my hands were tied to the gurney or to the bed, which really irritated the hell out of me.
You don't like to be tied, yeah. Yeah. You don't want to be held down.
Hey, nobody's going to do that to Ranelle. But I guess apparently they were worried that I would pull the thing out of my throat and
Yeah.
face because I was. Did you come when I was incubated, Mike?
No, I came the next they had put you out of ICU and taken that out the previous day, I think. Before I came.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was in there, I think, for 3 or 4 days
Yeah.
before you came.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even know for most of like 36, 40 hours. I didn't know.
yeah,
Because
I knew
it's
you
not
would
uncommon
call.
that I don't talk to you for days at a time, right? That we just.
Yeah.
So I was very surprised when I saw.
Oh my gosh, I thought that's all I thought about. Mike, you better do the show without me. Mike, you
I
just,
did. I did it.
I
I
said,
did
I
my
don't
best.
care because I paid a price. And the price is I'm in here. And somebody wanted me dead, and so you're going to do this. And that's all I
Yeah.
could think of. Honest to goodness, Mike, that's all I thought of. Um, and I was
Well,
so mad.
that must have
Um,
traveled to me and been somehow relayed to me because my feeling was, it wouldn't have been a bad deal in general to cancel. Hey, you've just been in the fire. That's how it goes. But no, I felt I needed to do it. Like it was a feeling that I just had to. So I did. And I think that was important
and
for.
I felt that it was critically, even though maybe there wasn't anyone there or could be there, I just felt that it had to happen. And so all I could think of is I realized that there was something in my throat. You know, I tried really hard to go like this in the air, you know, to say, please let me write
Yeah.
for things that I wanted to say. And I said, I love you. If I choose to die, be okay with it. Um, just be okay, because it's God's will. I've had a good life. I think that's what I wrote. And then my daughter says, too late. Too
Welcome
late.
back. You're back.
You're in the ICU and they got tubes down your throat and in your throat. They had cut my throat open, and you know, so they had there and they had it down here. And while I was strapped everywhere, things going in my nose. I had IVs in both arms, and I looked a mess. I looked like an octopus. I looked like a plastic octopus. And all I could think of is, oh, I hope my oldest son doesn't see me, because it'll bring back memories back when he was a little kid, you know,
Yeah.
and he saw his mom like this.
Yeah. When you
And
had bandages all over your face back then, and
right.
he had to deal with, and that's a lot. That's a lot to see your mom
And
like
what
that.
was amazing is he recognized his mommy.
Good.
So I talked to him about that, and he said, you know, it's so funny, Mom. I actually had a memory, and I remembered it when you were laying there with it in your throat and so tied up and all the IVs. He said, as an adult, to get to put my hand on you and just hold your hand, he said was a freeing experience. I think that's what he said. And he said, but I do remember it, I had a flashback.
And
And I thought that was
he
incredible.
couldn't have held your hand the first time. Like
No.
back in the day, you didn't have a hand. It was burned off. Right?
Right.
So, I
And
mean,
and it was behind a window. They wouldn't let him in
oh, yeah,
the room
that makes
because
sense.
of, yeah, to keep the germ levels down. They actually wanted to send me up to the burn unit. It was Danny, and I kind of wish she had. I don't know, it's a give and take, because you
Mhm.
got students up there, you know, that you have to deal with. And it can be hard. But you're dealing with incredible burn doctors who already knew about my condition. They would have, so I have CPRS, right? And they would have known about the CPRS, which would have helped a lot. You know, that I was already in a lot of pain, plus the burns,
Yeah.
plus the throat, plus the lungs being seared, plus the ashes in the lungs.
Plus the
Holy,
secondary tan on your face.
yeah, it looked great. It was I don't know, Danny, if you look at Danny, if you go to Danielle's post, Danielle
Uh-huh.
on, is it Danielle on or Danielle Wallace? You've seen it, Mike.
It's on. It's AHN, I think, right? That's how you spell it.
Yeah, or Danny on Direct. That's what
Yeah,
it
that's her
is.
YouTube site, right? Danny on
Yeah,
Direct. Yeah.
I think so. On is AAH. Anyway, there's a picture of me in the hospital. What color was I then?
You were a little darker, but the lighting here is I don't know, but you looked to me, your skin looked pretty normal, other than it looked like you had just gotten out of a very long workout. So
What do
that's
you
probably
mean
the
by
nicest,
that?
good
What
as
does that look like?
I mean, it looks like
What is that?
that. I mean, it means that you were like, it looks like you were, you know, you were sweating like profusely, and it was like, yeah, I could. I mean, at least from the picture, that's what I saw. But
oh, you know what it was? They put Vaseline because I was swelling so bad. I mean, my legs and my arms were swelling up so bad from the burns because it had cooked me. So it had cooked from the inside, which was weird because the skin didn't burn. Isn't that weird?
that is weird.
So my face was red and sunburny, and it was purple. Danny said I looked like a purple people eater.
Yeah.
And I know there was black ash still all over my face and in my hair. So I knew that was still like everywhere.
Yeah.
But I remember just kind of knowing that I was stuck with being alive and going, I'm repeating this. I'm doing the same darn thing of having to handwrite everything out on a piece of paper. You know, and and because I had to start with trying really hard with my hand strap to keep hitting the side of the thing, going bang, 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 to get everyone's attention.
Man.
You know, to get help, because what would happen is the tube would fill up with mucus.
Yeah.
And when the lungs were so built up with mucus and swelling that it would choke you to death. Like it would totally cut off your oxygen. So they had to go in there and suck out in your lungs all the black. And they have to suck out all the mucus from the swelling.
Yeah.
So that kept happening. They had to keep going down, 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 down into your lungs and pull it all out. I mean, totally suck all this mucus and black and green mucus. Ash. And so they kept doing that. And then this guy comes in and he says, hi, Ranelle, do you remember me? And I shook my head, yes. And he said, do I look familiar? And I said, no. Well, yes and no. He said, oh, okay. So I look familiar from the ambulance, right? And I said, yes. Yeah. And then he said, do I look familiar to you after that? And I said, no, I'm sorry. You know, and, you know, just shook my head. And he said, I'm Austin. Let me tell you why I know you. I know you because you used to live right next to me. And you would let me come over to your house and tell you all my problems. I was always the neighborhood mom. And so I would listen and listen and listen. And Austin said that he had fallen in love with Danny. That he was head over heels in love with Danny. And Danny is beautiful. And one night he says, Danny, will you marry me? You know, we'll wait, but will you marry me? And she goes, marry you? I told you I want to go on a mission. No. No. And he was so hurt that he ran away that night, and the next morning he illegally, you know, at 17 signed up for the Marines.
Wow.
So off he went to the Marines. Bye-bye, Austin.
Yeah. At least for a while.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So Austin got sent to Afghanistan and Iraq both. And he wanted to get in the fight. I said, why? Why? Why do you want to do that? And he goes, because I don't deserve to live. Danny doesn't love me.
Hopefully that changed over time, and it wasn't like the entire time he was out there. He was like that.
No.
Hopefully he found purpose elsewhere.
He was short and really skinny. That's the Austin. I remember he was the same height as me, but he was really skinny. And, you know, he was an okay looking kid, but he was skinny. And then the next thing I know is he comes back from his first tour of duty, which I think was a year later. And he comes in the kitchen and says, do you remember me, Austin? And of course he came, grabbed me, swung me around, and he says, where's Danny? And I said, she should be coming home any second. Yeah, she hasn't got her mission? No. Well, I want to ask her to go to, I've been invited to go to the Major's Ball.
Okay.
So it's like for the big wigs. And he goes, since she didn't get to go to her prom, that was like a big deal. So, yeah, we went to the ball. I said, well, did you like it when they got back, you know? And she said, it was boring. Well, did he behave himself? He's a Marine, Mom. Of course he behaved himself. He was around all the all the captains and generals, and yeah, he was behaving.
Yeah.
And so he came back the next day, and he says, Danny, will you be here when I get back? And she goes, get from back from what? And he wanted to go out and fight more. So he got called back out to Iraq, to Fallujah.
Oh.
Yeah. Right in the heart of what they call, there's, I guess, this place called Death Valley. And so he told me he had been shot 3 times in the heart and survived. He said a lot of his friends died in his arms, a lot of Marines. And he said when he saw me,
because he was a medic, right?
Yeah, he was a paramedic.
Yeah.
But because he went and did tour duty with these guys, you know, he wanted to serve right next to him. He wanted to stay in the same battalion. And the same guys that went through the boot camp and training. So, yeah, he went back in because Danny rejected him again. So off he went to war again. And I never saw him again until this guy said, I'm not going to let you go. You're going to live. I'm not going to let you go. He said, I'm here because of you, Ranelle. Because I was praying one day you would see me as a fireman, be proud of me. It's because of you I chose to be a fireman. I couldn't have been more proud of Boston in that moment. But in that moment, I realized how much our lives stretch out and reach people.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I think, too, when they took the tubes out of my throat, I was proud of my kids. For the first time, all three of my kids got together and they went to the apartment to see what their mother had gone through.
Mm.
I was mad. So mad. Everything was gone, Mike.
Yeah.
I just lost everything.
Yeah.
And I fought to get it all back. I fought like crazy to get everything.
Prior to the fire, you mean, right? Like,
Yeah, prior to the fire,
yeah, because you had lost everything
everything.
prior to that, and so you were fighting to get the things that you had in that apartment. And then
Because when I moved, I had no help. So I had to just go to the dumpster and start throwing dishes away and throwing everything I owned away. Everything. Except for one suitcase. And so I gained a little bit for that apartment. Started rebuilding. And it's all gone.
yeah.
My jewelry melted, Mike. In that short time, my jewelry melted. How?
Because it was very, very, very hot. The fact that you made it out. I know that right now it's hard to see, and there's just so much. There's pain, there's anger, and there's also the trauma that goes along with it, that goes back way further than just this. And
well, I found out how the fire happened, and that made me madder. It was sheer neglect on the owner's part. And I'll leave it at that and say no more.
yeah, let's leave that there.
The fire was their fault completely. And I'll say that, and that's it.
And I mean,
It was an electrical fire. It was a total electrical fire that got out of control. But why, Mike? Why did this happen again?
I know, like I was saying, I know it's hard to see right now. And I hope everybody understands that this kind of pain and trauma that happens is very, very visceral and real. And I think all of us have experienced some things that have caused us to have trauma and pain. But just imagine being in Ranelle's position, what's happening, and where she has now lost everything again. And it blows my mind.
And you know what? Some people have been generous, but Mike, I'm shocked they're giving me their used stuff. Like I love these people, but it's like, what the heck? And then,
well, I know that
staff stole stuff at the hospital. That was given to me was stolen. I mean, how desperate can you get?
for real.
So it's like, I'm down to nothing. It's like, with no hope, I'm homeless. The one thing I had fought so hard to never get to. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm crying. This has just been so new. It's only a week old, so forgive me.
I mean, we almost didn't move forward, but we decided to put this out there because our show is a lot about the trauma that we go through and trying to address it. And this is live for us right here. The type of pain
This is
that you
real.
can go.
Well, and because every time we do this show, it's a battle.
Yeah, it has been.
It's always a battle, Mike.
Yeah. So
Why
I'm
does it
glad.
always have to be so?
I don't know the answer, but I do know that there is purpose, and I don't know what it is. So whatever.
I know there's people out there that are wealthy and they're so kind and they are loving. But I'm tired of it too, Mike. They don't even pick up the phone to say hi.
Some people are.
That. It's like, call. We're gotten so into these phones of texting and social media, right?
Yeah.
That we don't even call each other anymore. What's that?
I think there is something to say about connection with being able to speak with people, the spoken word.
Then the AI is coming in. AI talks for us where we can't talk, which is going to give us more time to do what? And it's going to put so many people out of work. People have no clue of what this is going to do.
Yeah. Some do, but most are going to be taken by surprise. So I'm glad that you're here.
Yeah.
would have been horrible, Ranelle. And there is a higher power, and they are watching, and clearly they want you here.
Why?
Maybe it's just to help me. Maybe it's just to help. I don't know. But I know that your life.
I honestly don't even think there's anyone online.
Well, we got one person watching, and there's more that will see this later, for sure.
One person, and I think maybe just that one, right?
Well, we had 3 people that were able to join for a little bit, so.
And then they left. Why?
I don't know. They probably had something to go do.
What I'm saying, it's like I'm trying to stretch myself to understand.
Well, now there's 3 people. And we appreciate the ones that are here with us.
I want you to know I love you, whoever you are. Thank you for being here. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means you care. You took your Sunday.
And there's lots of people that I know would want to see this, but that didn't yet, that didn't know, because we didn't know.
That we were actually going to be able to do it. So, my gosh, all day fight to do this.
Especially for you, yeah.
On my side, it was all day a battle.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing happened, or it was just so funny. I could just laugh.
And I was dealing with the cold, and I'm like, but here I am, because, you fight so hard. I'm not going to leave you be and let you just, I want to be there for you. And I think there's lots of people out there that want to do the same. People have good intentions and good They
There's a
want
lot
to
of
send
intention.
love. And so
Yeah.
I think it's important that we recognize those that do love and whatnot. But I mean,
I will
to
tell you this,
replace
I
what
did
you
die.
need.
I did die. There's no question. I kept the bulb for that reason. This time I'm going to keep this bulb with me. And you know why? Because every breath matters. Every breath I take matters.
Yeah, it does.
And I want to live my life. I don't want to live in a phone. I don't want to live on the internet. I don't want to, I mean, I'll do it because this is God's work. And, you know, you and I were talking about whether I had died. Yes, I did die. And some things were repeated. But the one thing that I saw was what's coming very soon. Very soon. Like so fast, man. I can't even believe how fast this is going to happen. And there are two reasons. One was I still have to deliver a message from 25 years ago that I promised I would deliver. And yet that's been the hardest thing to do. Because the person who's on the computer will not get off the computer to get on the phone and call. Or just meet and say, here's the message, blah, 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 blah. Okay, goodbye. You know?
Yeah.
I did my duty. Woo! But more than importantly is that there obviously is some stuff I have to do for the events that are happening. I now know what to do. There's no question with the event that's coming. I absolutely know what to do. And
Can you
so
share
I'm gonna
more
get
on
myself
what
really
that?
prepared.
Can you share what more that is, or is that something that we can't share right now?
Well, no, it's fine. It has to do with fire.
Okay.
It has to do with fire. And if you do not know, protect yourself from the fire that's coming. If you think, la, 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 it's okay, it's not going to affect me. Well, you know, most people, if you go to the airport, I guarantee you, I promise you, go to the store even and see if anyone looks up from their phone.
Yeah, I think everyone, the world is starting to realize how damaging it can be, how damaging it can be.
AI is taking over our children's education.
Mm-hmm.
And in some regards, great. You know, that's great. Kids will learn. But, you know, then at the same time, wait a minute. AI is going to not have them really work in a way that helps them with math, to think math out. Because everything in the universe is mathematics. And I got to go through that again, and that was exciting. I have to tell you, that was just wonderful to hear the sounds of the rings of Saturn.
Mm.
Oh, my word. Beautiful. Did I tell you about that?
No.
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. If there's anyone, I know they recorded this. I think it was the. Let me say this right. Cassini satellite went through the rings and recorded the sound of the rings. If you get the chance, it's on YouTube. Go listen. It will change the atmosphere around you. The vibration just in the sound will change you.
I'll have to do that because that's.
You have to be able to go through those rings again. And to hear that sound was so beyond heavenly. I can't explain it. Heaven, of course, is absolutely breathtaking. There's just no words, nothing in the world that could ever remotely explain the beauty of it all. There's just no words. It was wonderful to go there. It was disappointing because going there, I knew I wouldn't be staying, you know?
Yeah, but you had to do a show with me on Sunday.
Pardon?
You had to come do a show with me. Of course, you were coming back.
And I got to hold a baby that hadn't been born yet. That I picked up out of, there's a place when you get there for babies who are very, very, very sick. And in earth life, when they are sick and they're not there, they're not there. They're in this room where all the walls are made of the most exquisite jewels. And when I mean jewels, like crystals.
Okay.
And you went in the raw form, it would be so spectacular. But they are, and it's uttermost beautiful expression of beauty. I had been there before. This time I went and looked very close. It's like stained glass. And I went really closely to see if there was any separation. What was separating these beautiful, large crystals, that were all different colors. And honest to goodness, they were so tight. There was no space. They were so tight together.
And this is why you were dead in this recent experience.
This is the recent experience.
So you went back.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to know was, how is prayer given? I want to know what prayer looks like to God. And I wanted to know what and whose prayers get answered first. And I was shown it's the mother's prayers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's for the newborns that are very, very, very sick. And then it can go all the way up to a year. I don't know. There was a young man who kind of looked like a teenager, and he was there. And I could hear his mother singing from Earth. And she was singing the most profound and beautiful song. And, she didn't have a great voice, didn't matter. When it came through those crystals, the sound coming through the crystals made it so absolutely beautiful. I couldn't believe how beautiful.
Because it was about what was in the heart and what was being prayed. So you're saying, oh, we lost her. We'll see if we can get her back. But I think that's a beautiful expression of what it could and what it would look like on the other side. And that's the first time I have heard, this. And so I think it's a beautiful experience. And I'm sure we can hear more about that another time. I did want to point out that that there was a message put up on our Boards. Oh, she's coming back. That's good. But there was a Carson Miles said, don't worry about many people watching, because the fact that you're documenting this means much more. The feelings are real and give people hope. And that was my son.
Who was that? Your son?
My son. My son was watching, and he put that
What
down.
a beautiful boy.
Yeah, it was, and that's very, very true. And so I think documenting this and documenting our
relationship as friends,
yeah.
you know, it's very eternal. I got in that room, and there was one baby that was so sick, Mike. There was Hispanic babies and beautiful black babies, but there was one particular child, and I don't know why that child needed me. And by the way, I got to see my daughter Noelle.
Oh, okay. That deserves more than just the short time we have. And I don't know if we'll talk about it here, but I need to hear that.
We'll talk again, but it was so beautiful. But I want people to know about prayer. So the more intent and the more you pray with the purity of your heart and not in repetition and I know there are certain religions that do it in vain repetition. Don't. If you feel that in your heart, or you hear someone say it, do it separate in your own heart.
Yeah.
Make it your own prayer. Don't.
Just because someone
in other
else
words,
is
if someone's
voicing it,
standing up,
doesn't mean that you can't feel it and join your heart to what they're saying, or say your own prayer, including those things. So, I mean,
say your own prayer.
Yeah.
Honest to goodness, say your own prayer. If the person is just rattling off words, don't do it. Just go into your own heart and soul. So here's what's going to change the difference. And though I'm the only one here and your beautiful son is, here's what I did learn going over there, Mike. The only thing that's going to be different is our authenticity. What's coming is going to be so severe that robots are going to take over.
Man.
And they're going to want their own personality and own rights. And we don't think that that's going to happen, but it is. Don't let anyone kid you. And they're not, by the way. They're not. They're made of the zeros and ones. They're programmed by zeros and ones. They're just, everything is created by math anyway.
Yeah.
But there is God's love that creates reality. That is the key. That is the key. That is what causes the seed to grow. It's a power.
Love
is an
is the
absolute
key.
Power.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. So when you are at your wit's end, like today, I mean, there was this guy, brand new computer, the only one in the building, except one that I think was back from the 1990s. And I asked him for the code because there was a guy that said scooter on there. And it said for residents only. I said, "Oh, this is perfect. Mike's gonna love this camera. It's new." And so I went in there and asked Scooter, you locked up the computer. I need the code to get in, and because you've locked up the residents. And he said, "Oh, I know." I went and talked to the head nurse and said, "Scooter has done a wonderful job of locking himself into this computer and locking everyone else out. to use it. Would it be okay if I used it? And so they gave me the code. And he knew that. He knew it. So a little stinker. He also heard when I was going to get on.
Mm.
So at 7:30, Mike, that man got on the computer and wouldn't get off. I said, how long are you going to be? That's okay. I don't mind, but how long are you going to be on there? He said, all night if I have to.
No.
Mike, I just went, you little shit. And he was sitting there playing, and he was shaking, and, he's doing this Chinese game. And I said, Scooter, you knew I needed it, right? And he says, I know, but I'm not letting you use it. Why?
It's his.
Is this your? Yeah, you heard him.
Yeah, I was on the phone when
I
that
said,
happened.
Is this your computer? Is this your computer? It's my computer. It's my computer. Now I'm more determined than ever to get my own computer. I don't have your computer even. And the one thing I have is all burnt.
Yeah. Well, I will say, hopefully there's people out there that will see it and go to your GoFundMe. I put it in the community portion of our YouTube page. So you can go there and give, because you need to rebuild and have the basics. You don't need the most fanciest things, right? But you do need the basics.
I need a blow dryer.
Mm-hmm. And ultimately, we need to get you into you need to get into a place somewhere you can go where it's
right. I need a bed.
Yeah.
I need a pillow. I need like the simple basics of life. Think about everything being taken away from you.
Yeah.
Underwear. Pajamas.
Yeah.
Little things. Makeup. Be nice to get some makeup. I have a little bit on, but not very much.
I didn't have time. I didn't put on my makeup.
So, and the good makeup that was really expensive, someone donated.
Uh-huh.
The nurses stole it.
Yeah.
They went through all my things, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, literally, $20 was all anyone donated. I was like, $20, huh? It's funny. We think our worth is based on a dollar bill. It's amazing.
Yeah, and
But we do,
the other week,
and I do, because I'm only worth $20.
Yeah. You're worth a lot more.
But here I got all these wealthy people to contribute to the Maui cause. I built hospice. I built the International Near-Death Studies. I built Stop, Drop, and Roll. I built the Children's Burn Foundation. I built camps all over the world for burn kids. And dang, Mike, I can't even get $20.
I think it's about reach. I think people that know you from either your past or just what we need more people to see. And I think that's really what it's about. Why? Because I'm sure there's many people that would want to give. So
I don't know, Mike. I
wish we had a better answer.
Am I awful? Is there something wrong with me?
I wouldn't be on here with you if there was. And I don't think anybody in their right mind would think that something's wrong at all. It's just crazy what you've gone through. And so I hope that this can reach people so that they can maybe help. And I'll do everything I can, Ranelle, and I think we need to get you out of there for sure.
I don't want to be homeless.
No.
I don't even have a car. Because guess what happened? The car
What happened to
broke
your
down.
car? Your car broke down?
Yeah, when the fireman, it's a long story, but the fireman ruined my car.
Goodness.
So I'm now without a car, without a home, without food. Well, I have food here. If that's what you call this.
Yeah.
Did I tell you what that? This is fun. So I want to get back to the prayer thing though first.
Okay. And we probably should maybe
You
go
know, it's
5, 10
okay,
more
Mike.
minutes.
Mike. It's okay.
Say that again. It's okay. Okay.
You know why? Because this one's really important about prayer.
Okay. Let's hear it.
So I picked that little baby up in my arms. Every bit of the crystals came alive. And there were these rays coming from the crystals as I picked that child up. And it was designed in such a way that God had put his touch on every crystal. And there was something about and now please don't go get a bunch of crystals. And it's going to heal you because it's not. No, it was there because God had touched them. And because in this room was holy. And it was like a big dome with these beautiful crystals. And in the center was this, like, the most natural grown chandelier.
Mm.
And a light source that I could not tell where the light source was coming from. But the more that the prayers were given for these small children, the brighter it became. And I asked one of the attendants, how many of these do they have? And they took me outside the dome. And Mike, it was like almost a planet covered with domes of children all over the world. And each place had a different purpose. Like one particular dome was for children who had been sexually in the moment of being sexually abused.
Mm.
In the moment. And watching these loving, I can't even, I wish that Christ could let it shine in your eyes. You would not sit still to tolerate it. You would do everything in your power to fight it. I saw, teenagers who had rebelled and have left their parents' side, who were trying to become, I'm sorry, transgenders. You can hate me all you want. Go to heaven. That's what I'll tell you. Go to heaven. Because these are the prayers of the parents who feel so hopeless. And yet they're going to continue to pray for their child. That struggle with transgenderism, ideology,
Mm-hmm.
And their prayers were heard, Mike. So the stronger the intent, it's like an echo, the same way that these vibrations of Saturn. So if you go and listen to vibrational tones of Saturn.
Mm-hmm.
You could turn it on now, Mike. I'm talking.
If I could get
and
it
have
on,
it running in the background. Pardon?
I'll try.
Yeah, it would be so cool while I'm talking because it is just, you know what a lot of people aren't aware of is there are multidimensional um, rings around every single planet, even our own. But just because our eyes cannot see it doesn't mean they aren't there. They're there. And they sing. Every ring sings the redeeming love of God. It's always a welcome call for God's presence. And when you hear it, when you play it right now,
I can't. I'm gonna try.
oh, please, I hope you get to. If I could, I would, but I can't because I'm on this phone.
Yeah.
Elon Musk, if that's Elon Musk, sent me a video. I think it's him, but I don't think it's him. Sent me this video of Norwegian music of this one girl there, and these men are singing at such a low tone,
Mm-hmm.
and such overtones that it is just absolutely mesmerizing and beautiful. And the same is true with these sounds from, oh gosh, from these rings.
I'm listening to it right now, and it is quite hypnotic. I wish I could get it onto the screen here, but I don't have. There's not a way to do it where we're
There's
at.
no way. Oh shoot.
But
Well,
if
what do you think?
everybody go listen to that because it is very interesting what that sound is.
Watch, listen, keep listening to it because it'll blow you away. I'm watching his face because I want to see what he thinks of those sounds. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. I saw that look.
Yeah, that was I listened to. Yeah, that was very interesting. Very hypnotic, beautiful.
Beautiful, right?
Yeah, there's a depth
Almost
to
like,
it that I wish I could explain, but there's a depth to it.
yeah. So if you listen again now, I promise you'll hear it. Every time you hear it, you will hear sounds you never heard before. Because they don't exist in our ears. But if you keep listening, you will hear it. Because we think that we're dimensional only by our physical dimension. It's not true. Our spiritual ears, our spiritual eyes, our spiritual nose, mouth, all sense the spirituality and the depth that goes beyond any physical comprehension. We don't smell. We don't smell with our nose. We smell with our spirit first. We don't see with our eyes first. We see with our spirit eyes first. We don't speak with our mouth. We actually speak tone first. Listen to your own listening. I always say that to people. Listen to your own listening, especially when you pray. What does listen to your listening? Listen to your own voice when you pray.
So speak
Listen.
with the spoken word. I mean, that's not always possible, but when you do,
The word is so powerful. The tone of the word, the intent of the heart. I've heard so many ministers out there this week, just on purpose, in the middle of the night, I'll turn them on. These televangelists, they're so used to praying with their tone of their, give $20 and we will give to you. We will give you prayer. Yes, we will. I thought how cheapened it was considering what I had saw in prayer.
Yeah.
And here was this minister who had a stack of papers. This is how sad and desperate people are. They send for prayers to be prayed for them. And so their piles are high of literally each page is a written out prayer for a person. Praying for and asking for prayer. Mike, when they do that, they cheapen the sacred moment of God and his ability to act.
Well, I mean, what he really cares about, and what I've learned, is he cares about the depth of your soul, your heart. He cares what's going on with your intent, what you are trying to accomplish.
Authenticity. It's the
Authenticity.
authenticity of our soul speak.
Yes. And that is when you can communicate directly with God, is when you are able to speak with not just an emotion, but a spiritual
of the soul.
Yes. And it is like a song. It's not a song, but it is like a song. And you can sing it and you can feel it and you can really communicate with that higher power, with God. And we believe in Christ. We are Christians and whatnot, but wherever you are in your life, God cares about you. And
He
if
knows the prayer goes up. Let's say you're out, and I saw this man lost in the mountains. I know he's out there because I saw he was found, which was so weird because I don't know. Wait, I don't even know if he was found. To be honest with you, I don't know if he was found. I know that over when I had this happen to me, Labor Day. It happened Labor Day. So when I was in the hospital over Labor Day with this thing on my face, and I was on the other side, I saw him. And he was caught down under two rocks and a tree. And I said, God, do you want me to save him when I go back? And God told me, no, I will save him.
we lost her one more time, I think she's having internet troubles at the hospital there. But I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. But I do want to say that true, real feeling that you can have spiritually, emotionally, that is what you send to God. And that is what he's going to answer. And not just answer, but he's going to communicate. And that's what you can really achieve when you are able to meditate, or you're able to really sit and think. Get away from the busyness, get away from all of those things, and take a minute to examine your own heart. Examine it and feel what is really there, and put that out to God, what you really care about. And I promise that he will your heart will be lightened and you'll be able to communicate. You just have to put every intention into it. So much love to everybody that's out there and everyone that joined and everyone that's going to watch this in the future. It was a longer one, but I think it was important. And Ranelle, if she was here, she would say bye and that she loves you. But know that we want to do this and we want to build a community that can help each other and can care for one another with real intent. And that's really what we want to go for. But much love to everybody. Thank you for joining us. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day. Bye.